the Culling game's whole setup. I'm gonna have to actually reread this chapter and then the most previous chapter, and just the stuff that gives the ruling and the explanation of the Culling game, because I feel like I'm missing something in it. Like, I don't know why people would even want to really participate. I have to look back and see like the reason that some people need to get pulled into this, but obviously like the main cast really want to go and find that one girl and use her ability to undo the hold on Prison Realm and let Satoru Gojo out. Because him getting out is obviously really big for everybody. One of the things I'm actually very curious as to what he'll do if they manage to get him out of Prison Realm is how is he going to react to all of the higher ups at like the Jujutsu tech side of things, like the Jujutsu sorcerers and the families and whatnot, kind of like the more political side of the of their faction, because we know he was always very unhappy with how they kind of operated, and he didn't get along with them. They didn't like him, and on top of that, like he's made comments before, like maybe he might have to just go to war with them, like kill all of them if they get in his way too much. So I would imagine that like after he got sealed and they kind of went through the steps that they could to fake news both him and everybody adjacent to him, he's probably going to be pretty mad and just be ready to pretty much be like, all right, I warned you guys, you decided to turn on me the second you could, so, and he just maybe will just go in and wreck people and then be like, all right, I'm in charge now, because he has the full capability to do that. But obviously right now he can't because he's trapped up in Prison Realm. But they went over the rules over everything, and I don't really want to talk too much about the rulings of the game because, again, I need to see, I think, more like the game in actual action when characters start kind of being active and just doing everything that's set up for the Culling game. I don't know. I feel like it's just I'm probably not reading the wording of it maybe properly, because I don't really just understand at least at the point, or at this point, of why people would even want to be in it, why you wouldn't just kind of leave, because it seems really dangerous, and then on top of that, a huge risk to everybody like involved that would want to be in it, both for both against their competitors, but also just being around Kamo, like Noritoshi, if they know who he is or anything. Probably not. I would assume most people probably aren't gonna know who he is, but in relation to, say, like, you're just some guy, standing around, and unless you're like forced to be in the Culling game, why would you really want to? I know Kamo's like trying to get more powers, like he's gonna try and steal more people's abilities, and then slowly lead up to his scheme with Tengen to pretty much turn everybody into Jujutsu sorcerers. I actually think it would be really cool if in this series they ended up losing, and he ended up Kamo ended up changing the entire world to be like sorcerers, and then you just continue the series off of that, because Jujutsu Kaisen is obviously very popular right now. The series is expanding, and it was an opportunity that like Demon Slayer had that I don't know why they didn't, is like ride the popularity wave and continue if you have something set up to continue, not just continue to continue. And like with Demon Slayer, they set up this idea that like the other demons could evolve, and they would end up becoming on level with Muzan. And obviously with Jujutsu Kaisen, one thing that was kind of established is mostly outside Japan there's not a lot of shamans, so it'd be kind of hard to do the story at a large scale. But if Kamo wins, ends up turning everybody into Jujutsu sorcerers, you can have a much larger scale story that goes on for just for more general material, but also can go over more areas than just Japan. You can bring characters from all over the world into one cast, or make events worldwide instead of, again, confined to Japan. Because really, when you think about it, like a lot of these series that have like just a lot of content, when you look at something like where like Bleach was, or you look at like another series, monthly, so you have to put a bigger number multiplier on like the chapters, but like Tokyo Ghoul, they mostly did stuff in Japan, stuff like that. And then you have like all this open world that if you really wanted to, you can probably expand all the way over there and just kind of do things on a much more grand stage. Jujutsu Kaisen has the opportunity for that, obviously. Like with what's set up, we'll see. There's always the possibility that can happen, because I think the author, if the idea was given, like the idea of how to logically continue existed, could be a potential way to go after the end of everything going on here, because this doesn't have to be like some kind of just like shill to kind of do stuff. Obviously, with what's set up right now, you could easily keep going. And there's still a lot of characters get introduced. Like, you could just have lots of small characters like this that end up playing, if they're popular, build into a bigger role in the story. Like, at the very end of this chapter, we got this guy, the one in the picture, he's like a failed comedian, Takaba. And it's funny because, like, when people are talking about him, they're just talking, like, comparing him to the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, where he's just like this kind of crazed comedian that can't seem to get the job down. And he's talking to this one dude, and apparently this old dude with the beard, he's like an interviewer, I think like a YouTuber or like a talk show host guy, like, or on the radio or something, who ended up doing like an interview with Akutami, and apparently he liked him so much he decided to give him a cameo in a chapter, which is pretty cool. But he's talking to this one dude at the very end, and they're like trying to explain to him, like, yeah, man, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you can try and do something else. But he seems pretty determined about his his comic routine and comic dream. And there's a part at the end when he's talking about like people that are funny and people who think they're funny, and they're like, which are you? And he has like, it's not just like asking him the question, it's the look on his face when he's thinking about it and answering. He's like, I'd say it's 50-50, maybe 70-30. The guy's definitely crazy. I would assume that, like, in his head, he's trying to convince himself that, that he's funny, and that people are, gonna be more interested in his routine if he can just get it down better. I don't know, it's a weird character to have in a series, like, that's already been set up to have, a lot of crazy powerful people, and to give what is in potential reference, like if you had like the Joker, but with crazy shaman powers and magic and getting ready to probably fight some of the cast. If this guy's cool, I hope he sticks around, because I like the introduction. I think that he has an alright design. He's got like these big sideburns, like he's got his hair slicked back. Nothing too crazy about how he looks. Maybe he'll look a little bit more intense, whenever we get to the point where he's in the story. I don't really know. I feel like maybe if like this was a character in the anime, then he would maybe look a little bit better. Maybe like you could give him like a cooler color dynamic. But for the most part, he doesn't look any standoutish. Like, he's just kind of like a plain looking dude. So I am looking forward to seeing how that guy, how like the story goes with that dude. And how exactly is he going to play into things? Maybe he's going to be one of the major antagonists in the calling game. He could be one of those guys that just has a really broken ability, and maybe he's just hard to fight in general. If he's cool, I really don't hope that he's not one of those just arc-exclusive characters. Just because Jujutsu Kaisen lost a bunch of people recently, so I would hope that is fixed by replacing with a bunch of more cool characters, or at least a few that I can like. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, prefer the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everybody that already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.